blogged about some cases of pedophilia and rape committed by Unitarian Universalists.
In Montreal, or?
No, these were in the United States.
Okay.
So these were blog posts up on the internet. They're still there. I didn't take them down, but they wanted me to take them down. So they hired a Canadian corporate lawyer to have me served with a cease and desist demand letter.
Wow.
Yeah, and in the demand letter, I'll give you the exact words. It says, your unfounded and vicious allegations to the effect that ministers of the association engage in such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape are defamatory. And then it went on to say they're so defamatory that they constitute the criminal act of blasphemous libel. So they're actually accusing me of blasphemy.
Blasphemy?
It's hilarious. No, it's a big joke. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. You know,
oh my God.
Yeah, it's in the Canadian Criminal Code. We still have a blasphemy law prohibiting blasphemy.
Yeah.
They call it blasphemous libel. But anyway, they accused me of this crime. They wanted me to take down the blog posts. So I wrote back to the lawyer. And I said, well, I'm having considerable difficulty finding blog posts that match your description of unfounded and vicious allegations, blah, blah, blah. Please provide me with titles, URLs, internet addresses, dates, something, so I know which blog posts you're talking about, so I can go and look and decide what to do, Now, I knew what he was talking about, but he did not identify the posts in the letter, and I also knew that what I wrote was not unfounded.
Yeah.
So that was the little trick with that. So the guy writes back to me, and instead of providing the dates or the titles or whatever, he says, your claims not to be able to find the offending material are not credible. In others, I'm lying.
Wow.
Yeah. So I had to write back to him, and no, you don't understand. I know where I wrote about such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape and so on. I don't know where the unfounded blog posts. You tell me where the unfounded ones are. Of course, I never heard from him again.
Can I get your blog? I want to...
Yeah, sure. It's called The Emerson Avenger.
The Emerson Avenger?
Avenger,
Avenger?
Yeah, like the Avengers.
Yeah, okay.
It actually sounds worse than it is. It's actually, have you ever heard of Ralph Waldo Emerson?
No.
He's a famous American philosopher, shall we say, from the late 1800s, mid to late 1800s. And he's actually, in that time, he was a Unitarian. And he came up with a saying about justice, and he said, slowly, but surely cometh the avenger. And by that he meant justice. He didn't mean vengeance in terms of, severe retribution or anything. He meant justice. And so I took that saying as the blog title. I referenced that in the blog title. So that's what that's about. So it's not about, vigilantism. It's about real justice. But yeah, this is a total perversion of justice to hide perverts.
Yeah,
so it's total insanity. And the worst part is when this happened, this isn't that recent. It's actually a little under 5 years ago that I got this letter. So when I got it, and after saying, no, you're full of shit and I'm not taking down anything, and on top of that, I expect you to withdraw that accusation. I expect you to apologize for that accusation, and I expect you to tell the truth about just how many of your ministers, to say nothing of Sunday school teachers, have been charged, tried, and convicted. And on top of that, you might want to say who's been credibly accused. Not everyone who's accused ends up going to jail. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I say at rock bottom minimum, you're going to admit the truth that some of your ministers aren't just pedophiles and rapists, but they've been sent to jail for it. They've been found guilty, and of course they didn't.
Yeah.
and they're still resisting it to this day. So yeah, I'm protesting it, and there's other problems with the church, but this is just sheer insanity from my view. Especially the blasphemy law aspect. I mean, there's other ways they could have tried to hide it, but to accuse me of blasphemy, you know what the ironic part of that is? Blasphemy, if you look it up in a dictionary, is like insulting God or insulting a religion, and usually by insulting what they hold to be sacred and holy. So I saved it for a rainy day, but one day I wrote to the lawyer and I said, so you're trying to tell me that such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape are held to be sacred and holy by the Unitarian?
Oh my God.
No, that's the implication.
That's what they're implying. Yes.
Exactly. That I don't think they intended to do that. So I just, like I said, it's sheer lunacy on their part. So thanks for your interest. If you want to continue on your way.
Have a good day.
And just if you don't remember the blog title, Because I have a Twitter account too. My name's Robin Edgar. If you search Robin Edgar, there's a lot of stuff on Twitter.
Perfect.
Yeah, okay, thanks for your interest. Yeah, okay, right, bye-bye. So, that's first conversation a day with a young woman. Looks to be in her early 20s. And she thought I might be on about Pizzagate. In a way, you know, like the whole Pizzagate thing is open to some debate. But in fact, you know, the Unitarian Universalists, in their efforts to hide pedophilia and rape, are actually, and this is much, perhaps even more provable than the Pizzagate stuff. You know, there's a direct parallel. You know, they're trying to hide pedophilia and rape within the religious community. You know, by ministers, by Sunday school teachers, in falsely accusing me of the criminal act of blasphemous libel. So, just yeah, something of a close parallel there with the whole Pizzagate thing. So this young lady engaged in a free and responsible search for truth and meaning of my protest, and I gave her the rundown on that aspect of it. There's other aspects of the protest that we didn't get into because, you know, her question was specifically about the whole pedophile and rape thing, so we stuck to that. And I don't think she had all day to hear the whole gory story. So we're going to lay down another chalk slogan here, and just deciding which square. This guy's having a look at the sign. So. All right. I'm protesting problems with the church locally, but also the larger Unitarian Universalist religious community. Oh, okay. So that sign is about how, you know, some of their ministers don't make the church look good, both locally here, but also, you know, in the bigger community. For instance, just in the last 2 weeks, a Unitarian Universalist minister in Oklahoma was arrested for child pornography. So this doesn't help the image of the church, you know, when a minister, and this guy, he presented himself as being a very Christian Unitarian Universalist. He was, you know, set himself up as this very righteous Christian kind of guy, and then he's found to be messing around with child pornography, and also sadistic. It wasn't just like it was sadistic. Yeah, exactly. So that's one image tarnishing minister, but there's more. So here, I've been blogging about some of the sexual abuse problems that the church has, not locally so much, but in the bigger community, and the head office, if you want, the Vatican, if you want, of the Unitarians in Boston, hired a Canadian lawyer to have me served with a legal demand letter. And in the demand letter, he accused me of violating Canada's blasphemy law.
Why?
Well, these are exact words from the letter. He said, "Your unfounded and vicious allegations to the effect that ministers of the association engage in such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape are defamatory." And they're so defamatory that they constitute blasphemous libel. So, so just silliness. So,
why they accuse you blasphemy? Blasphemy, what that means?
Blasphemy, deeply insulting a religion. Attacking a religion. That's what, or God. You know, blasphemy is the original sense was attacking God. But in the more modern sense, it's also attacking a religion. So, but in a very, you have to be attacking what they hold sacred and holy. Their core things that they consider to be sacred and holy, and so on. So they accused me of doing that by blogging about clergy sex abuse. So it's
so if for the child pornography, it's true.
Oh, it's true. He confessed from
So
and the cases of pedophilia.
I cannot accuse you and to point it out the fact.
No, exactly. So
anyway, I know lots of things there.
So So that's it. I posted blog posts.
Yeah.
And they were very, very truthful. They were about people who were arrested and went to jail.
Yeah.
So they weren't false, and they tried to pretend they were false and blasphemous. So.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Very good.
Have a good day.
Okay. Glad to talk with you.
Good talking to you. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
day.
Yeah.
Bye.
So that's the second conversation of the morning. Well, actually not that young fellow, looking at the image tarnishing ministers picket sign. Glad we got that recorded because we were nearing the end of a half-hour segment of video. So that's two conversations, two non-Unitarians engaging in a free and responsible search for the truth and meaning of my picket signs. This is the first picket sign the guy was looking at, Church of the Image Tarnishing Ministers. I explained it to him to some degree. And atheist Unitarian Universalists, also known as UUs, are accusing me of blasphemy. Well, I explained that one to him as well. So we're off to a pretty good start in terms of conversations with the public about why I'm protesting in front of the Unitarian Church of Montreal this morning. So one more time, we're running towards the end of the half-hour segment. It's the 100th anniversary of the Battle of Vimy Ridge, and I am honoring the veterans by exercising the rights and liberties that they fought and in some cases died to preserve. So we're coming up to the end of the half-hour segment. I'm going to start a fresh one very soon. So that's pretty well it for now. Got just a few seconds of video left. What I'm going to do is actually going to lay down a couple of chalk slogans without running the video probably, and then resume the video once these slogans are down and on the sidewalk.